Alright, so I'm going to show you how easy it is to use the SÜLgear Tarp Nuts, and this is on a split ridge line. So let's come over here and we'll wrap this around the tree here. Of course, these are the SÜLgear tree hooks, but we're not talking about that right now. Let's come to this side. Hook this around this tree. Hook that in. Now, as you can see, our tarp is here. Here is our SÜLgear tarp nut. Unscrew that just a little bit. Let's move it about where we think we're going to want it. Screw that down, the top nut down just a little bit. Let's come to this side. Let's unscrew the nut, give us some slack. Pull it like this. What I'll do is I'll get a little friction on there so when I pull it back it'll stay. And then you just tighten it down just like that. Come back over here. Tighten that down. You're done. It is just that easy. So let me give you a rundown on the tarp nuts. First of all, the material. The tarp nuts are made from a glass reinforced thermoplastic, which is extremely strong and durable, as well as moisture and UV resistant. And as you can see, they also come in a multitude of colors, which is pretty cool. So let's talk about the features real quick. One thing is I didn't want the nut to be able to unscrew all the way off. So we have this top stopper here. So you go all the way up and that's it. It cannot come off. The biggest thing was I did not want people to be able to lose this on the trail or traveling or whatever you're doing, camping, hiking. If you lost this part, then of course the whole thing doesn't work. So we made it to where that cannot unscrew all the way. The shock cord. This is very interesting shock cord. This is Dyneema sheath shock cord, and very different than, say, the shock cord that you're probably used to seeing like this. This is polyester sheath shock cord. With polyester sheath shock cord, you see it stretches and stretches and stretches and stretches, and you can easily overstretch your typical polyester sheath shock cord. With Dyneema sheath shock cord, it will elongate 100% of its length, but that's it. You're not going to be able to overstretch this shock cord. It's also a lot stronger than the polyester shock cord. The other thing I wanted was I wanted to be able to move my ridgeline from tarp to tarp. Now, a lot of times what happens is once you install a ridgeline on your tarp, it's not really easy to move from tarp to tarp. Say if you get a new tarp or if you have multiple tarps. And I do have multiple tarps, so I wanted a system to where I could easily move my ridgeline from tarp to tarp. So how we do that is this shock cord can easily come off, and since it can easily come off, you can then reattach it to another tarp. So let me show you how that works. See, there's a slot right here. You pull that to elongate it, and it snaps right out. And then you can take your tarp nut, which also means your whole ridgeline, you can take that off, put that back onto another tarp. To put it back on, you just put it along the slot, pull it tight, that way it elongates and makes the line thinner, and then it will go straight back in. There we go. Just like that. Works fantastic. And of course you've got these knots here in the shock cord, and the knots live in these holes right here. The knurling. Yeah, I wanted to be able to easily loosen and tighten this regardless of the conditions, whether it's wet outside or if your hands are really sweaty. So we have really nice knurling right there. This is made, tarp nuts are made for 1.75 millimeter line like this, and you're probably familiar with it, known as lash it or zing it. So if you use anything bigger than 1.75 millimeter, this will not work for you. So just make sure 1.75 millimeter line. This also works with both a split or a continuous ridgeline. I personally use a split ridgeline because it's less line and it's real quick to put up and less moving parts. And the Tarp Nuts weigh everything included. The nut, top stopper, everything, shock cord. They weigh less than 7 grams each, including the shock cord. So, I spent well over a year and iterated this design countless times to where we are today. And it's been a long road, but I'm super happy with this creation. Works perfectly, and I'm sure you're going to be happy with it too. So, thank you for your time.